here. It can't get into the undulation completely. Now this effect is greater at the inner area of the record. Its effect is greater with 33 RPM records versus 45. And this effect is greater at higher frequencies, okay? But, so you got incomplete excursion, and you also have tracing error. And now remember, this side of the groove is sending you a left channel signal, and that side of the groove is sending you a right channel signal. However, the contact points are not phase aligned with each other, and they're constantly changing. The contact points here are thusly oriented, the contact points here are totally opposite oriented. So you're constantly getting phase errors, constantly, right? Then there's the vertical modulation. Because this was cut, because this groove was cut by a fine line cutter head stylus, what that means is that that in order for this conical stylus to fit through these passages are getting narrower relative to the size of the conical stylus. And you can see that, and look how the diameter of this is larger than the diameter of that. That just represents that in order for this stylus to get there, it has to come up. Remember, the stylus is a cone. So for it to fit to this groove, it has to go up, down, up, down, up, down, even though it's only a horizontally modulated stylus. You guys want to play with this later, you can actually feel that. So if I have this oriented properly on its zenith, I can feel left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. It feels nice and smooth. Now, if I put the zenith error on it like this, now it's going up, down, and left, right, and you can feel it. So I invite you to check that out. Elliptical styluses are an attempt to improve upon this situation. And they do, but you still have incomplete excursion, you still have phase error, and you still have vertical modulation. Unless the stylus is in similar shape as the cutter head stylus, it's going to have mechanical errors. So this is what you want. You want to replicate the stylus, and it'll travel through the groove perfectly. So this is what would happen if your fine line contact stylus was exhibiting a zenith error. This side hasn't reached the peak yet. It hasn't reached the peak yet, and it's trapped there. So in order to surpass that peak, it has to come up. It has to have a vertical excursion, because remember, it's pointed like this. It has to have a vertical excursion, so you're going to have vertical excursion. And there's another way to prove that. So one of the benefits that I have to have a partner who is also head of R&D of Medtronic is that we get access to a lot of PhDs and a lot of equipment and a lot of software that's not otherwise available. So had some work done in finite element analysis, which is very expensive software, about 25 grand a year, done where what we did is we recreated a horizontally modulated groove. And this, you're looking straight down the groove as if you're standing at the basin of the groove looking straight down. And then we built this stylus, fine line stylus. And we said, okay, travel down the groove. And we have the stylus perfectly oriented in the groove. And you just look at the spring, that's very helpful. It's just going left, right, at different frequencies. So there's actually two frequencies in that groove. So it's, like that. Now if you introduce zenith error, now you see the vertical component. Look at the spring, really shows it. It's going in an ovular pattern. So how bad is that? Well, we calculated that for a 4-degree zenith error, which remember is within tolerance. In fact, it's pretty well within tolerance. A 4-degree zenith error, for every 7 microns of horizontal travel, you'll get 1 micron of vertical travel. That's a 15% mechanical distortion. And by the way, it works the other way around too. If you've got a perfectly vertically modulated groove, you will get horizontal modulation. In order to get through that vertical groove properly, it will modulate horizontally as well. It shouldn't be. The groove content has, in that case, no horizontal component, and in the horizontal modulated groove, there's no vertical component, but yet we're getting this excursion. Now this excursion, people who live with conical and elliptical styli live with this every day of their life. And you can still get great sound. And I'm not implying that you can't get great sound from conical elliptical. You can. But what's guaranteed, mechanically guaranteed, is you will not extract every bit of information from the group. That's for sure. Doesn't mean it can't sound great, but you won't get everything that's there. That much is clear. All right, so any questions so far?